Happy Sunday! Welcome to the studio. Yay, I'm glad you're here. Now we've looked at all the colours of the light spectrum. So what happens if we mix all those colours together? Well, with light, if you mix all of the colours together, it creates white. The colours in the light spectrum cancel each other out and it makes white light, which looks amazing and it's beautiful. Oh, and that's how Isaac Newton split the colours to start with. That's where we started. But what happens if we mix all of our paint colours together? Does that work the same? No, it doesn't. It looks absolutely rubbish and it looks like mud, because as you mix more and more of the paint colours together, you have less and less light, and so you don't have the purity of the colour. So we're not going to mix all of our colours together to make white light, but we are going to use white this week. We're going to squeeze it out of a tube. That's the easiest way to make it. So join me in the studio today as we use white for our theme. What about white on black? Let's explore this idea today as we continue with our 100 days of collage. Well, I've set myself a pretty huge challenge this week. Look at all the whiteness. It's blinding me. I don't know what I was thinking. It's such a great idea, but it's going to be a tough one. You got to help me out, man. You got to hang in there with me. So I've got my beautiful white paper. Now I sprayed this with a white ink because it was a little kind of creamy, but it looks no different. That white ink I used, spray bottle, wasn't that great. I also did some other papers. I painted on them. This one I sprayed a pearl white, and that was a bit better. That's got a bit of a nicer kind of a sheeny spray to it. See, that's the color that it was, and that's the color it is now, so that's going to be better. I also did some stencils on some little pieces of paper. I think these are rice paper or Japanese paper or Thai. I don't know. I bought a pack off Amazon. I can't remember what they were, but I splashed some silver ink around. I made some stencils and covered all sorts of little pieces of paper with that. That's another one that I've painted. That doesn't have the pearl on it, so I'm giving myself some varieties of white. I also did some of my favorite stencils, white on white. I know, it's blinding me. I made some of my fabulous favorite tissue, but I don't know, it wasn't as, impacting doing white on it. I put white ink on it and I can't even tell which side it is. I think it's this side. I put some pearlescent white as well, but it all looks a little bit Iceland to me. Seriously, this is just white. Oh my gosh. If you've watched any of my episodes, you'll know that I like impact, saturated colors. I like the drama of contrast. So I don't know how I'm going to go this week. I tell you, it's going to be a tough one. I did put some mark making with the silver ink that I bought from Amazon onto white tissue. So that could help. That could be okay. I also printed onto paper packaging, which I love using paper packaging because it's an endless resource and it's free. So I put some stencils onto some paper packaging. That looks pretty cool. That got me a little bit of color on the page. So, I really like this tree one. That was really cool, the week that I did the tree. But I think it's going to be a bit of a tough one. It won't be easy. I mean, look at this. This is a gel print of a stencil on the white tissue, and I don't even know if you can see that. We're going to be going with layers of texture, that's for sure. I have no idea how this is going to work out. This is another one with the white and the silver on paper packaging. That at least is going to give me some color. Because, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed by the polar bears in the snowstorm. Now, I do have a black paged art journal, so maybe that'll help. We could get a bit of dramatic contrast. But this week, we are being inspired by the illumination of white. Now, I'm thinking that the success of these pages is going to be in the multiple layers. Now, I'm only thinking that they're going to be successful that way because I haven't done this before. I mean, what a challenge to take on. White. Anyway, so this is a PM Artist Studio stencil mask that I've put white onto white paper. Yes. And as you can see, because my background is black, that's going to come through. So I might start with that idea because this is a great stencil. This is the thing, and I like the way it's got that swirly line. It looks absolutely fabulous. And then I think I'll put my other favorite stencil, Julie's stencil of the messy writing, onto that side. Again, I put the stencil with white onto white paper. So let's start with that. The black will come through and show a little grey underneath, and then I think I'll add some of this. I thought this would come up whiter because I sprayed it, but it didn't, so whatever, that's okay. But if we put that onto that, I think I might still see some of those designs underneath. That could be cool. So I'm thinking that that's a very brave start. Let's just start there and see how we go. Now I'm using titanium white paint, the strongest and most brilliant white that was developed in 1921 for artist use. The pigment used for this is titanium dioxide, not to be confused with the lead white, which as its name suggests was created using metallic lead and vinegar. Artists would grind a block of lead into powder, exposing themselves to highly toxic dust particles to create the white that they so desperately sought for their artworks. But the exposure to this highly poisonous ingredient caused so many symptoms such as dizziness, trembling, paralysis of the limbs, impaired eyesight, coma, and even long-term usage could result in death. These artists were dying for their art. We've read that so many times through this series. Oh my gosh. Although it was not just the visual artists who were subjected to a little lead poisoning. In the 1500s, lead was a common sweetener in wine and used as medicine. Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. In the Middle Ages, lead could even be found in makeup and was encouraged to create clear skin. Yeah, so awesome. Just slap that on your face and suck up some lead poisoning. The fatigue, stomachache, gout, paralysis, and arthritic conditions that often plagued the Renaissance painters was contributed to their lifestyle or their mental state, rather than the physical deterioration caused by the lead poisoning. You know, you've heard it before. This is where that assumption comes from, that artists were crazy. No, not necessarily. Maybe a few, but not all of them, because they were being slowly poisoned by the materials that they were using. Yes, I know. We've had a bum rap. We're not all crazy. Not all of the time. The artist Goya used to apply his paints directly to the canvas with his fingers, and he was said to have complained of bladder problems, weakness of the limbs, blindness, and vertigo. The lead would have been seeping through his fingers, through his skin, and the more he played in that lead-based toxic paint, the faster those symptoms would have deteriorated his body. Some artists licked their brush to achieve the fine point that they wanted for applying the paint. Like, hello. The lead was even known to leave a sweet taste, slowly poisoning the artists. Samples of Beethoven's hair that was done in an autopsy way after his death, of course, showed an overly high concentrated level of lead. Of course, this wasn't from licking his paintbrush, but it was from the copious amount of wine that the musician drank. Can you believe that they had lead in the wine of the day? I mean, seriously. Anyway, he was also known to have bitten the end of his lead pencil to achieve the point. So I guess that's as bad as licking the brush. All of these amazing artists were slowly ingesting the toxic poison that riddled their bodies and often led to their deaths, or contributed at least to their slow deterioration of mind. For us today, however, we have both knowledge and understanding to not kill ourselves slowly with our art supplies. So let's rejoice in the incredible freedom of living with our modern materials. Yay for us as we create fantastic artworks that don't kill us in the process. So maybe this week the black pages background might be useful, because look, there's color coming through. Even if it is a dark grayish color, it's still color. Now I'm liking this one up here. What am I going to do next? Oh my gosh, that's the question. I might use some of my glorious tissue. Oh, man, which side is it? I can't even tell. I'm thinking this side. So if we rip some of that off there like that. Oh man. I'm already missing my beautiful colors. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to complain the whole time. Maybe. So if I put another layer of tissue on top, I love the way the pattern is coming through because of the black background. That looks pretty cool. I'm liking that. The black's going to work for me this week. Last week, I think it worked against me with the violet. But this week, it's going to work for me. Now, if I put that there, it just creates another shape and another layer, which I like. Maybe down a bit like there. And I've got some of this paper. Now, this paper, you think that it's highly colored, but it's not really, because this is what it was. And then I sprayed it with this Dilutions white linen spray, as I spray everything. Every time I go to approach my beautiful collages, I spray everything with the color that we're working with. Well, I sprayed this with this. I didn't think it turned out that great, but now looking at it, I think I really like it. When you look at the original, you can see how much the color changed. So that's pretty cool. So perhaps I'll put some of this in somewhere on here. Maybe. I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling confident because I'm just not used to using white on white. So I'm not feeling overly confident with this plan, but that could go there. And this could go on here. Maybe down the side or across there. Not sure about that one. I could use the other piece that I tore out was this one. I could put it over here, I'm thinking. But then I might add another layer onto this one. So I'm liking this idea. This is just silver jelly printed onto glassine, which is like, it almost feels like tracing paper, but it's not. But it is see-through. It is completely transparent like that. A little smoky. So I'm thinking I'm going to put a layer of it on there, because you're just going to see that other layer and that underneath. That could be really cool and very interesting. And then maybe I'll put that on top, but I'm really not sure. So I'm just going to have to try it. And if it looks garbage, we'll just have to change it, right? Because that's just how it's going to go this week. I'm going to try things I haven't tried before. And if it looks no good, you just have to bear with me as I change it and come up with the next brilliant idea. Okay, so let's try that then. Now, I used silver gel print on this glassine to put this layer on. Now, if you don't have glassine, it works just as well with white tissue. I was just mucking around because I had some in my studio, but I know I'm not loving it anyway. The silver, I don't think is strong enough to really give me the impact that that I know and love. So this week might be as hard as the yellow week was. But I've just put that second layer on top. You can still see that script stencil underneath. So we'll see how that dries. Now, I don't know. This is a bit boring. Man, this is going to be tough. Yeah, I'm not using that. That's boring. Now, am I using that? I don't know. I've done that before. pretty sure I did that for Indigo Week. And clearly I can't repeat myself. I do like this paper, so I think I should do something with this. The one that I sprayed, it kind of looks pretty cool. I like the shape of these. So, you know, that could be okay, but we need to put something under it because it needs to be separated from that background. And then what are we going to do there? You know, this could work. This paper is glorious. Maybe that could work under there. Maybe it could. It dissolves quite nicely as well, so it would make a great paper for another layer. So that could work, and that's got a little bit more exciting texture on it than just the white tissue, because that was leaving me flat. I tell you, it's gonna be a challenge. So what about if we put that under there and then on top? That could work. Maybe, baby. Let's give that a crack like that. And we put that there. And then we won't know till it dries if the idea was successful or not, really. Righto, well, let's try that and we'll put that there. Okay. I love that shape in the background. I think that looks really cool. This side, yeah, I'm not going to put the big one on there because I've done that before. Even though I've done this before, I'm going to do it again. I'm loving me some beehive paper because I love these shapes. We're going to put that on there. Now, we need to put something under here. What about some of the fabulous stencils? That is another PM Artist Studio stencil. And I honestly don't know what it's called. But if you go to the website, pmartiststudio.com, and go under stencils, you'll find it. It'll be there and it'll be amazing. So that could work there, like that. And we could set the beehive. Yeah, that could be okay. So we'll glue that down and see where we're at. I'm definitely got to put something there. And this is cool. I'm liking this texture. That's working. That'll be okay. All right. I think we'll survive. But, you know, it's going to be a tough week. That's all I'm saying. So, yes, I put my fabulous beehive paper on and I love it. What can I say? I just love that paper. It doesn't matter what color it is. Even white looks amazing. Now, as it's drying, you can see the color black from the page coming through darker, which is really cool. It comes through this layer and it comes through there. Oh, I ended up putting that row across there instead of on top of that because I really like the line of that from the stencil print or from the jelly plate. So, you know, I decided to leave it. As it dries, you see it clearer and I'm liking that. It's okay. We're going to be okay. Now, I do want to put something there. So I was thinking of using my Secret Circle Maker and putting a silver circle, but I think it gets lost and I think it's all just too much circling going on there. So maybe not. So then I thought maybe I'll put the other one of this on there. That could work. Maybe, maybe not. So then I think, what about I use this one and just use half of it? Yes. Now there's an idea. What about if I use that one? I put it there like a semicircle. Yes. Yes. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it right there. And then the pages have to dry. And it'll be very interesting to see how these layers of lines and textures look when the pages are dry, because the black coming through gets stronger as the pages dry. And I think we're okay. Righto, I'm going to stick that on and then we'll let that dry. And then that'll be the first 2 pages of White Week. Are you feeling the illumination? So what do you think for our first 2-page spread on white on black. You know, it's okay. It's all right. It's definitely stretching me as an artist to come up with ways of creating interest and impact with just these different shades and textures of white. Yes, it's a challenge, but challenging ourselves as creative people is really good for us because it stretches our boundaries and it just makes us better creative folks. So, yay. Jump in and have a go at this. It's not easy for sure, but it might be fun and you just might learn something. So they're beautiful. They're almost dry. They're not quite. They're almost dry. But I'm pretty happy with the first 2 pages because I knew it was going to actually be quite difficult for me. And I'm okay. I don't hate them. I'm loving this composition. I'm loving all of the incredible textures of these white stencils and papers. I love the way the black background of the page is coming through. You can see it in all these different layers and that looks pretty cool. So yay, I think we're off to a good start. And now we could be possibly ready to take on the next 2 pages. Yippee! Right, so I'm thinking with these next 2 pages that I'd really like to maximize the impact of these beautiful black backgrounds, right? Because, you know, I did have great ideas for creating on black when I bought the art journal, so I need to make the most of it this week when there's not too much else going on. So I'm liking this piece, definitely loving this piece, maybe not so sharp. I think it would be a great piece to leave the edge like that and just glue that on and have the black background. Yes, I'm so going to do that. Now, I think I'm still a bit stuck in using the fabulous messy writing stencil. That fits on there. That'll be beautiful. And then I just need to come up with something for the middle bit. I'm thinking this side. What shall we start with on this side? You know, I'd really like to make the most of this black background as well and perhaps start with some tissue. This tissue has the mark making with silver, the print that I took on the gel plate, and I think I'm just going to start with sticking that on and then think about what else I might want to put on it, because look at that. That looks flipping beautiful, and that black will come through the tissue, and I'm going to leave that one all the way around there, and that's really fun. What are we going to do next? Not sure, but I'm definitely going to start with that, and then we might need to sneak a little bit of black in. Ooh, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so I'll stick these down, and that is a great place to start. Yippee! Right, so the tissue is looking great. I think it will, as it dries, it'll probably be darker in color. This is looking fab. I love this piece of paper here. I sprayed that with some pearlescent spraying, and it looks rather beautiful. I mean, it just does. But I'm going to have to add something dramatic because we can't just leave it sitting there being all shiny and pearlescent. We're going to have to do something to these pages. What about some of this? That could work. Yes. Everything that we put on will come through these beautiful white textures. That's so possible. I like that piece there. What else have we got? We've got some of this paper. That could work. I like the silver. Yes, I do. I'm liking this piece on here. Maybe I'll go and find some more of that paper. There you go. Didn't have to go too far. It's all just sitting around me like icebergs. There's icebergs. There's white everywhere. I've never sat with so much white in my entire life. I know, I'm being dramatic, but you wouldn't expect anything less. Now, I'm liking this. That's a potential, but then I like this piece too. That's pretty nice. This piece is bigger, so I could do the whole section of here. And what I like about this beautiful paper is that underneath color and shape and line and texture will also come through when that's glued on. So I like that on that. That's my fabulous fun mark making on the gel plate. Oh my gosh. So that could, yeah, that could work. I'm loving that. But what are we going to do there? You know, I could put some of this fabulous white stencil on white paper. Could go there, but we might sneak in a bit of black because really, we need a little something, don't we? What about a little snippet of the fabulous gossamer paper? Oops, you got to be careful with this paper. It's so fine. I mean, it's like fabric, but it's not. It's paper. Really delicate, just like me. So what about we put a little slither of the gossamer paper in there like that, because it's going to match our fabulous black background. And then we put the PM Artist Studio fabulous stencil there. That could work. Maybe move it over a bit. That could work. And then I could just have that little line of black. So, oh, you see, oh, man, that makes me feel better already. Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. I'm liking that idea. And then that's beautiful and clean, which was amazing that it stayed clean. Loving that raw edge. That could be okay. Righto, I think I can cope with that. Now, I'm liking this on here, I'm thinking. So I think I'll just rip that over there and down this way, and we'll stick this on. But what else are we going to do with it is the question, because it's going to have something else. Oh my gosh, this paper is amazing. Thank you, Libby, for showing me this paper. Then I had to, of course, go on and buy some. But that's going to go there. Something's going to go on there. Now, there's options. We could go with the fabulous white rose, handmade rose. That would work. We could put it on the dot there. We could put it right there. And we could sneak a bit of black in because we snuck a bit there. So, you know, it's only fair. So we could put a one of the fabulous beehive paper black rings there. There's an option. It's an option. It's a pretty good option. It looks pretty good. What about if I pulled out one of my fabulous feathers? I know, but I used it last week, so maybe I shouldn't use it again. But it does look good. And hinge it like that. The black and white looks fabulous. Oh, man, that looks pretty good. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, I know it's dramatic. And I love me had some drama. I've got to have some drama in my life. Or that. The feather or the beehive. They both look pretty good, don't they? Can't have them both. It's one or the other. Feather or the beehive. Which one? Which one? Which one do you think? I'm liking the drama of both of them. Be interesting to see how black that background comes through under the tissue. I could hinge it like that. Or the beehive. Oh, man. What about on there? On that side? No, too much on that side because we've got that fabulous stencil. So if it's going there, what about this on that side? No, that's not too bad. Maybe under. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Because that will dissolve. That's on fairly thin rice paper, that stencil. So that will dissolve quite a bit. So we could do that. What do you think? What do you think? You know, I don't mind that idea. I love the beehive black circles. I think we need that little bit of oomph in there because I'm going to go crazy otherwise. That looks fabulous with the background. This looks stunning with the feather. I mean, really, that just does. As long as I can get it to stick down, we'll be fine. Oh, I need to go find some washi tape. All right, why don't we just, yeah, you know, why don't we just do it? Okay, you've convinced me. It's going to be all right. I'm going to use all of it. I'm going to use the feather and I'm going to use the beehive circle, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to try and stick this down, go find some washi tape and see how we go. Righto, let's do that then. It's all very wet, but I think it's looking rather great with a little bit of drama. I just had to. It was never going to stay all pure white. Surely you knew that was never going to happen. And it's only a little bit. It's only a smudgeon. Right, so we've got some PVA glue up the spine of the beautiful zebra feather. Looks like a zebra, don't you think? And we'll put it right here. And it looks just fabulous. I just had to have a little bit of drama going on. Now I need to tape that to hold that down because the glue needs to stay. But I do like doing that. I like putting a little bit of washi tape on it, which holds it down while it dries, and it looks cool. So I've got some of this marble, which is a very kind of soft grey looking. That'll suit my colour scheme really well. And if I can get you to come and just hold this for a minute. Can you just put your finger on that while I get the tape done? Oh, man. Seriously, I need to do some more in-person workshops so we can actually hang out in the flesh. That's got to happen one day. Right, so we'll cut that little piece there. Yay. So much easier if you just held it for me. And we'll put it across there. That's going to look fabulous. I just had to have just a little bit of drama. Feeling much better about it all. These pages look fabulous, especially for the very simple colour scheme that it is. White on black. Pretty simple. Can't get much more simple than that. But it makes you stop and appreciate the incredible textures of the pages and the layers of the transparent papers. There you go. It's probably going to still stay upright like that because that's just how it's going to stay. And that's okay. I don't mind that, really. It'll flatten out eventually when the book closes on it. But that's okay. We'll just hold it there for one more second. I'm loving these lines of the mark making of the silver. As it dries, you'll see more of the black coming through there. The beautiful handmade rose is behind it. And I'm loving this textured paper here. This side's looking fabulous. This is still drying. Everything's wet, but I love the way I have left the background of the black. My beautiful beehive circle, some stencils, and the beautiful gossamer. You gotta love it. I think the pages turned out better than I expected they were going to. So I'm pretty happy with that. I might just hold my finger here for a little bit longer as it takes, as the PVA starts to get tacky. It'll be all right. Ta-da! And then once it's dry, which now I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow because it has to really dry properly before I can turn the page. How cool is these feathers? I just get the feathers from a craft shop. If you've watched my episodes before, you'll notice that I actually use them quite often because I love them. They look great. The feathers to me are associated clearly with birds, but birds is flight and flight is freedom. That's how it feels to me. That's why I love to use them. Because freedom and that passion of expression and self-appreciation is something that I am really deeply passionate about. So I use feathers often. That's what the relationship to the symbol is for me. Yay. And there you go. That's going to hold. That is going to be fabulous. And we've done another 2 pages of our white on black. I think that's great. And we'll let that dry and then we'll be on to the next 2 pages. Yay! Right, so my beautiful pages have dried and I'm really happy with them. And look, there's no purple or red or orange or even blue. There's white on black. I mean, can you believe it? And I'm really happy with it. The importance of doing something like this is looking at the design elements because it's really broken down into such basic compositions because you don't have the color to use to make the contrast or to create the areas of interest. So you have to really consider your composition. I'm loving this. It's very simple and I'm really happy with my design. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to leave a little bit of the background page because that's kind of fun. Righto. So let's move on to the next 2 pages. What are we going to do now? I'm pretty excited to use some of the white stencils on the paper packaging. It looks pretty cool. This had a white gel print and then silver mark making on it. I really like this piece. I also have some other pieces here. So I'm going to have to decide which one am I going to use first. That looks really cool too. On the different paper packaging. It comes wrapped around the amazing things I just have to purchase online. Love using paper packaging. Hello, it's a free resource. And you can't get more affordable than free. So which one will I use first? I think I'm loving this, so I might use some of this. I might use this on the next pages. And what do I want to put with it? Well, this is pretty cool. I mean, this is a pretty snazzy design. This is another stencil from the Crafters Workshop, I'm pretty sure, is where I got this one from many, many years ago. So what about if I start with those 2? Because I just think those marks are really cool. I'm really loving it. Although I'm also loving this piece, and I did want to leave some of the black page peeking out. So maybe if I put this piece on here and leave that edge of the black, I could put some of this underneath it. That could work. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the worst idea I've had. I'm loving this one. I have to use that section of this one. And then maybe I'll put some more silver over the top because I liked creating those multiple layers with the white and the silver. Oh, yes. Look how good that's going to look. So I definitely think I'll start in that direction. Yep, I think so. Righto, let's do that. Let's start with some of this and this and this and that. And we'll see where we end up. But I'm definitely making the multiple layers and it's going to be awesome. Okay, well, everything is very wet, but the papers are down and I think they're looking pretty cool. I put another piece of the gel print on the paper packaging down here with the white and the silver. The silver on that white piece looks looking good. I'm loving this stencil and the mark making on the paper packaging. Looks cool. Look how strong that color looks after all of the white. Oh, it is a pretty fun exercise, but I'm telling you, it's not easy. Now, I was going to put another layer of the beautiful silver on the white tissue, and I think I will because it'll look really cool. So I'm basically just going to put my matte medium on there and then put this section of the tissue because look how cool those marks are. Yes, I'm going to do that, and I think I'll just do it like that. And I might just leave those sections. I'm loving this black bit sneaking out from there. I know, right? Making those pages work for me. So that's what I'm going to do next. I think I'll just trim this side here. And then trim it up here. There's not so much hanging over the edge. And then I'll tear it along here so it's not a sharp cut line because I like raw edges better. And then I'm just going to put the matte medium down and put it on there. And then the whole thing has to dry. And we'll see how it looks. I'm loving the beautiful silver scribbly marks, which I did with my favorite pastry brush, onto just normal standard white tissue, boring old cheap tissue. It was probably recycled as well. Love recycling. Paper packaging is the best way to find free resources for your collage. You just gotta love it. So that's the plan, Stan. And then I'm probably going to have to put something dramatic on it because I don't know if I can leave it all so whitey white. Not sure. We'll see how it looks once it dries, because the tissue will probably be absorbed into the brownie color of the paper packaging, which should look really cool with the silver flicky marks on it. Love making these papers, love using them. So we'll put that on there like that, and we'll see how it dries. Yay. Okay, well, the page is not actually dry. It's not even close to being dry. But I already want to add something on it as I was going through the papers on my desk here. I'm thinking, come on, we need this. You know we need this. This is a licorice sprayed handmade rose. And I'm thinking, there. And I'm not going to take the center out of this one. It's not going to become a donut like some people like to call them, but I probably will put something in the center because that would be fun. Look at that. Yes. I'm not even going to ask you because I think that is just absolutely perfect there. These pages are still wet from their copious layers. So we'll just put a little bit there. Oh, man. That looks fabulous. I'm loving that beautiful color on all that glorious white with my paper packaging. Yay. Look at that. That was just meant for that spot. Seriously, that's what I thought as soon as I picked it up. I'm like, yes. Beautiful sprayed handmade rose. The ink does tend to come off a little. This is the Izink's licorice with the matte medium. Just know that it's no drama to me, but just so you know that if you fiddle with it too much, the ink will come off and smudge everywhere. But you know, if you don't fiddle too much, you'll be all right. Oh, glorious, because I've got that beautiful background there of the black paper of the art journal. That's the edge of the page. I haven't even trimmed it yet because it's still soaking wet. Righto, we're going to have to do something there now. We just have to. Oh, that colour is so glorious. What about if we put some of this paper, which is, yes, sprayed with licorice, on here. The lovely swirl design. I love that design. What do you think? There or in the middle? In the middle could be cool. Not on the edge, definitely not. Or what about horizontal? Bottom or top? Oh man, that one was easy. That decision was easy. So what about this decision? I'm thinking there. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think? What do you think? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to labor over it. I'm not going to stress out. I'm just going to do it. And when these papers dry, we'll see how strong that brown comes through, and we'll see how dissolved these swirls become, because that's all just fabulous layers. The white will come through with the silver, and it could look rather stunning. Oh, I love it already. As I'm gluing it on, you can see the white and the silver coming through it. Yay, that was a good decision. Yay, team. Yes, I think that's good. Those sprays, those Izinks, yep, they're awesome. Loving them, still loving them. Still spraying everything. Righto, don't fiddle with it. But What are we going to put in the middle? I really want to put something there, and I have one of these circles. This is white paint with the stencil onto black tissue paper. I did a whole heap. And I've cut out a circle, and I've cut it out the size of my secret circle maker. I basically turned the tissue over, drew around it with a pen, and cut it out. I know, right? It's so technical. It's as technical as my mum's favourite cereal bowl, which is not really a secret circle maker anymore because you all know about it. So it's as technical as that. Draw around a circle, cut it out. What do you think? Yes. Yes. What I love about this is that it's got that same feel as these mark making patterns over here. And I love that when it dries, you'll see it more, but the layers of the tissue with the silver on top of these other patterns and designs. Oh, it's just, oops, fabulous. My brush has got the licorice ink on it, so I won't use that because I want it to stay white. What do we think about that? What do we think? I think it's okay. I think it's going to be all right. I think it's rather a snazzy little design there. Righto, this time, I'm going to let it dry. I am. I'm backing away from the page. We'll let this dry. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. Yeah. Do we want a circle over here? I've got 2 more because you know I cut out 3, right? Do I want to put them here? Oh, man. I was backing away. I really like that swirl there, but do I want to cover it up? Oh my gosh, these circles are exactly the same size. That was a fluke. There's the edge of the page there. Now, do we want this? Oh man, that looks awesome, don't you think? Yes? Or no? Or yes? What do you think? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do we do it? Do we do it? Oh man, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Oh, I'm doing it. I wasn't going to do it, but now I'm doing it. Oh, man. Oh, you see, that's how it happens. I almost backed away from the page. But now, oops, there's my cloth. Now we're putting the circles on. And we're trying to keep them clean and white. That's the plan. Stan? That is the plan. Well, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. So that's white on paper packaging with black and white on black. That's pretty cool. That's pretty fun. Well, it's all about elements of design when it comes down to the simplicity of this colour palette, that's for sure. But it's rather groovy, and I'm having way more fun with it than I thought I would. Now, I printed a white stencil onto black tissue, so just remember that if you're going to do that and when you go to put it on, because it tears really easily. So you do have to be a little bit gentle. Right. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's all very wet and delicate. Righto. Loving it. Elements of design, baby. I'm telling you, it is so much fun to play with the juxtaposition of the black and white, silver, and paper packaging. I mean, so simple. It's such a limited palette, but it's way more fun than I had expected. I've just got to not touch it. And we'll wait for it to dry. And I think it's going to be okay. And then we've just got one more page spread. Oh, man. Seriously. It was way better than I thought this was going to be. I didn't even cry. There was no tears in the making of these art journal pages without any beautiful warm colours. So we're doing okay. Righto, we'll let this dry and then we'll think about the next page. Okay, so the pages are not really dry. They're dry enough that I can put a piece of baking paper in the middle to turn the pages and continue, because that's what I really want to do. So they are still a little sticky. I picked up the other half of this paper and it looks so good on there that I ended up sticking that on as well. I'm not entirely finished with this. I may do a few touch-ups to add a little bit more white to make those circles more complete. I'm kind of still fiddling with that, but it's a bit too wet now and I want to get the bases done on the next two pages. But I'm pretty happy where these are at the moment. I love this raw edge. I love the black. I love the paper packaging with the silver and the white. It's pretty simple palette, but I'm just really feeling the design elements of it, and I love these incredibly free and expressive mark making of the silver from the tissue on top. Now that it's drying, you can see them more clearly with the underneath patterns, and it looks pretty cool. So I think they're okay now to just be able to turn the page and continue, and I can come back and fiddle with it a bit later when it's a bit more completely dried. But you know, I can't wait. Waiting's not great, right? But you know, we just want to move on while we're inspired. So this is our last two double page spread, and I'm not sure actually. I've got this beautiful stencil. It's like an abstract rose stencil and it's on tissue paper. So when I put this on the black of my page, you'll see that gorgeous stencil coming through. That's kind of where I've started with the idea. But other than that, I'm not sure. I have the same stencil on the paper packaging. So I thought maybe I'll use a section of that. I kind of like this end section over here. Maybe I'll use a section of that, put that down, the black's coming through, put that there with the paper packaging. I'm liking those shapes. I'm liking those colors. But beyond that, I'm not quite sure where we're headed after that. I've got a whole ton of papers around me that I can use. Some leftover bits and pieces of textual papers. Maybe some of this could be cool. Or maybe some of the tissue that I painted. That could be really nice too, especially with a nice jagged edge. That could look cool. I've got some of these glorious papers if I want something more solid. Not a bad idea. I could leave a nice rough edge again with the black, or maybe even at the bottom. Ooh, there's an idea. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just going to have to take each layer as it comes and keep working on it. That's my plan, because I'm not exactly sure. I don't have an end in sight. I just want to head in this direction. So I'm going to stick the tissue down and I'm going to stick the paper packaging down, and then I'm going to make the next decision once I've done that. Okay, that's the plan. That's the plan. That's where we're headed. I'm not sure where we're going to arrive, so you'll have to stay with me. I really love these papers. I just don't know how I want them. Do I want them that way? Do I want it that way? I love this piece. I really love this raw edge. It's got the beautiful pearl spray on it, so it's really nice. What about if we put that on there? That's not a bad idea. Or I do like it on the black, although we have had it on the black. So, you know, maybe I'll put it there like that, the edge there, and put that on there. That could be okay too. Or maybe I'll leave an edge at the top. Ooh, that goes off the side there. Yeah, I don't mind this. I think we're getting somewhere now. That's going to be okay. Maybe I just tear that piece and leave a raw edge at the top. Maybe, baby. We might do that. So you just have to try your options. Move the shapes around, put them on top of each other, put them under each other. Try them this way and try them that way until you're happy with your design. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes and sometimes it takes a lot longer. It kind of depends what mood you're in, how your day's going. That's what I find anyway. So that's going to go at the bottom like that. And that edge is okay being raw. And then we could leave that there. Yeah, I don't mind that. Leave that black at the top. That's kind of cool. Put that on there. I'm loving that edge. Actually, I like that edge better. Maybe that edge should be at the top. Does it matter that it's crooked? Maybe. I don't mind crooked at the bottom. What about like that then? We have that little black edge at the top, which I like. And then we'll cut it off there. That gets cut off there. So we can see that cool groovy rose stencil at the bottom there. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. And then we put that on like that on the edge. So you got the little black edge there too. Righto. Right, the first layer's down and it's looking great. Still damp, but looking fabulous. I love this piece with the pearlescent shine from the spray ink and my beautiful paper packaging stencil. Now, that was the easy part. Now comes the hard part because I have so many options. I could use this piece or that piece. And sometimes it does take longer than 5 minutes because of whatever reason. I find when I'm really busy or in demand or people are wanting me or the bell's ringing or whatever, I find it really hard to be able to relax and just create. And some days are just harder than others. It's fabulous when you're in the mood and it all comes together. I find that it's easier if you have a strong inspiration. Like I loved this black of the page being left because it's a brand new experience for me to use a black art journal. And in this particular week, I could use the black pages to my advantage. So that's really fun. So I'm finding what I can do with that. I'm loving the tissue here. The white stencil on top of the black there looks really cool. But what else am I going to do with it? Because that's kind of, you know, going to get boring really quick. And this needs something across there. I love the texture of these two pages together. Now, I did cut out a bigger circle from the black tissue that I printed with my favorite messy writing script stencil. So I'm thinking I could put that there. I have to be a little gentle with it because it is black tissue that I printed it on with the stencil. But that could be cool. That could be cool. I also pulled out some of my happiness paper. This is a paper from Thailand. It's called Happiness. So I'm hoping these symbols mean happiness. I know that's a long shot, but hey, it's working for me today. So I pulled that out and cut a circle bit, which I think could look really cool under here. I like the white on white. That's going with our theme. And that could work really well for that side. Like something like that could look really cool, and I'm loving that. Yes, I'm going to do it. Where will I put the... I think I like the way the four of them sit like that together. So that's going to work. I think that's going to work. I'm a bit stuck with this one because I do have a few options. I have quite a few papers still laying around here, and they look fabulous. There's some great silver mark making. There's some other fabulous papers that I have. There's some tissue. There's, oh man, seriously. I do have some more of this paper, which I really love. So, that looks cool. That does look cool. Okay. Well, maybe I'll go with that. But then, do I need something dramatic on it? Yes, you know that I do. I have some of this paper. Which one looks better, that one or that one? That one will dissolve a lot, so you won't see as much of it, but it does look pretty cool. Man. Or this paper. I do like this paper too with the bubble wrap look. That dissolves as well, but not as much as the swirly one. Maybe we'll go with that one. I like the way this edge is here, and that's kind of cool. So if I rummage through my scrap bag and have a little look for things, I found some black gossamer paper that I could put on here. That could work. I like the end bit of it there. That's pretty cool. We could do that. Actually, that could be okay. We could put that on top of that. Like that. Something. Stay there. What do you think? What do you think? That could be, yeah, that could be okay. Or do we want it here in the middle? No, I don't think so. Because I really love this edge. This really jagged raw edge there, and I don't want to cover that up. So maybe I could just put it more towards that edge, like something like that. Yeah, I think that could possibly make me happy because I want to leave this. I really like the black of the page coming through the white stencil there. I think that looks cool. I love the shape. That's the same shape as what's down here, and that works. Okay. I think we're okay. I think that's what we'll do. Let's stick the middle bit down first. Notice I'm lifting it up and putting the matte medium down because if I move it, I probably won't remember where I had it. And then it won't go in the same spot. So if I leave it in place and put the matte medium under and over, there's a lot more chance of it actually being where I want it. Right. So we'll put this circle on. The page is still fairly damp. It's got a bit of a kink to it, but it'll be okay. Everything dries eventually. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm liking that. Righto, that'll be that done. I think what I'm enjoying about this particular palette this week is you can't get too stressed out about whether or not something's going to match because it's so limited. But I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It's been a fun exercise of design, and that's been really cool. There's just such a subtlety to that middle piece there of the textured shapes. That's really fun. Righto, don't poke at it because you know what will happen. It will tear. Now, this side, I'm going to put this one down. This paper will dissolve more as it dries, but I think it'll look okay. I think we'll be all right. Now, how far up do I... This paper is so fragile. It's so thin. It seriously is like lace. So you do have to be a little gentle putting it on. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite papers. I get it from the Takapuna Art Supplies. But if you're not in New Zealand, you probably can't get that from the Takapuna Art Supplies. I don't know where you can get it from. I know that Mulberry Papers in the States has got some amazing papers because I went on there to buy some, put them all in my cart. But then when I went to the shipping, it was going to be like $80. So I took them all out of my cart. I've been using camipaper.com from .com.au from Australia. And I've gotten a lot of really cool papers from there. So it's all just a little bit of, research to find your resources of where you can get these glorious papers from, depending on what country you're in. The UK, we still haven't found you a fabulous paper source yet, but don't give up because we will. That looks okay. I don't mind that. I really like the circles against the lines of the black. I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to let all that dry and then we'll see where we're at. We'll do a bit of a review of the pages and see if we're happy. Do I want to leave that alone? I really do want to. Can I leave that alone? That's the question. I really love the line of that. I love it against the black. I love that I got to use the black page of the art journal this week as a feature. That's made me happy. That paper packaging color is really nice. And that pearlescent shine is beautiful. All right, so I'll let it dry and then we'll see how the pages are looking and if we're finished. Right, the pages are dried and they're looking absolutely fabulous. I love the way the black of the page comes through the white stencil here, and I've cut out a little piece of the symbol there. That's the same as the one in that center, and I like the way it connects the pages. This black art journal doesn't seem to cope as well as the other one I had with just the craft colored pages. I think those pages might have been a lot stronger because this is getting a little buckled already. I've only just begun. So, I don't know. I'm just giving you a review of how it's working for me. The black one is not as strong as the other standard craft one. I'm loving having the black pages this week because it's working to contribute to my design, which is fun, but I don't know if I would actually buy it again. I'm thinking I like the other one better. Righto, so let's do a review of this week. Pages 1 and 2 are looking glorious in the Icelandic polar bear region of glacier white. Actually, glacier white's probably more blue. So anyway, we've got the black coming through from the background and these beautiful textured layers. I think it's beautiful. I just love it. It's very fresh and very different for me. I can't say I've ever done that before. So it's good for a learning curve as we're stretching our creativity. The different textual elements and the stencils are fabulous. They're really working together. Pages 2 and 3, I really love these pages. I love the feather and I love the textures. Again, I've got the black coming through from on the tissue there with the white mark making. My favorite messy stencil, and then the PM Artist stencils there. And the glorious beehive black. I love that edge there, the beautiful raw edge of the paper. I think it's glorious. It turned out really well. And I'm actually loving these pages. Considering there's no glorious red on them, I think I'm doing okay. 5 and 6 are looking a little bit more dramatic because I put some of that swirly black on there, which is stunning. I love the multiple layers on this. It's got the stencil on the paper packaging. And then I put the silver mark making on tissue on top. It looks great. I'm loving it actually. I'm loving the ways these pages are simple design elements. I love the black edge here. And this little piece there with the paper packaging edge against the black and then the white. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Pretty funky. Bit of design like this week. I think it's okay. I think we got there in the end. For all my doubts and fears, I'm feeling okay about this week. And there you go, 7 and 8, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. Of course, the circle looks great. The paper packaging and the beautiful pearlescent shine on that paper. The white stencil with the black background and the other texture elements that I love so much. So I'm thinking we survived all right without my lavish color application, but you know, I still do like those warm tones the most. What can I say? It was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I really enjoyed the creative challenge of just using white on black. I think it was really fun. Thank you for joining me in the studio. I really hope you enjoyed this week. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. I kind of had a little, panic attack not having all those beautiful rich colors to use that I so love. But I think it turned out all right. It was a lot more about composition and design. And I hadn't really thought of that before. I really enjoyed it. I find that the creative adventure really expands how we approach our art making. So good for us. Now, if you want more classes and lessons, I have 9 available on Skillshare. So have a look there. You can go deeper and learn more with my Skillshare classes, Also, if you're looking for some fresh inspiration, I now have 2 of my beautiful inspiration packs available to purchase. Have a look at all of the links in the description and you'll find something amazing there, I just know. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you come back next week and see what it is we're creating, because it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be fun.